Have you ever wondered why some people seem to receive Rizq, divine provision, effortlessly, while others struggle no matter how hard they try? What if the key isn't just in effort, but in aligning with the spiritual laws revealed in the Quran? In this video, we're going to uncover 3 powerful Quranic verses that hold the secret to unlocking Rizq on a level you've never imagined. Not just wealth, but abundance, opportunity, and barakah from unexpected sources. These are not ordinary verses. When recited before sleep, they activate deep spiritual energies tied to faith, gratitude, and divine trust. We're not talking about superstition. These verses have transformed lives, and when recited with sincerity, they can realign your entire mindset around provision and prosperity. Stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to recite and why it works. 1. Surah Al-Waqi'ah, 56:89. Surah Al-Waqi'ah is often referred to as the Surah of Wealth by many scholars and spiritual practitioners. While the entire surah carries deep significance, verse 89 holds a unique place in the discussion of Rizq and divine favor. The verse reads, "Then, if he is of those brought near to Allah." 56:89. This verse is part of a larger section describing the 3 categories of people at the time of death. Al-Muqarrabun, those brought near to Allah, are at the highest spiritual rank. These are individuals who lived their lives in obedience, sincerity, and reliance on their Creator. For them, the promise is one of comfort, peace, and abundant reward in both this life and the hereafter. The deeper meaning here is that closeness to Allah directly impacts the quality of one's rizq. It's not just about material wealth, it's about a blessed, contented, and elevated life. When one consistently strives to be among the muqarrabun, doors open, burdens lighten, and unseen help arrives. Rizq becomes more than sustenance, it becomes divine provision, filled with barakah, blessing. Reciting Surah Al-Waqi'ah, especially this verse, before sleep, is a practice known to bring peace to the heart and trust in Allah's plan. It shifts the mindset from scarcity to abundance, from anxiety to reliance. Over time, this spiritual discipline cultivates inner wealth, clarity in decision-making, and often tangible financial blessings. The emphasis is not merely on the words, but the state of the heart during recitation. With sincerity, humility, and a yearning for nearness to Allah, verse 89 becomes a nightly reminder that true wealth begins with proximity to the divine. 2. Surah Al-Baqarah, 2:261. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 261, presents a powerful metaphor that reshapes how we understand giving and its connection to Rizq. The verse states, "The example of those who spend their wealth in the way of Allah is like a seed of grain which grows 7 spikes. In each spike is 100 grains. And Allah multiplies His reward for whom He wills, and Allah is all-encompassing and knowing." 2:261. This verse draws a vivid image, one seed growing into 7 spikes, each containing 100 grains, showing that even a small act of giving can result in a vast, unimaginable return. This divine law of multiplication is not a transactional formula, but a spiritual principle. Allah rewards sincere charity in ways beyond human calculation. In the context of Rizq, this verse reveals a hidden key. Giving in the path of Allah is not a subtraction from one's wealth, but an investment with exponential return. It activates a divine cycle where generosity invites divine generosity. The one who gives consistently and sincerely begins to notice blessings in areas money can't buy: contentment, opportunities, good health, and protection from loss. Another layer of meaning lies in intention. The verse refers specifically to spending in the way of Allah, indicating that the heart behind the giving matters. Charity driven by ego or recognition holds no weight in this formula, but when given with humility, trust, and a desire to please Allah, the seed is fertile. Before sleep, reflecting on this verse can reshape one's relationship with wealth. It encourages the believer to become a giver, not a hoarder, to see rizq as a flow, not a possession. This mindset unlocks a spiritual abundance that often leads to material prosperity as well. 3. Surah At-Talaq 65-3. Surah At-Talaq verses 2 and 3 contain one of the most empowering promises of Allah regarding provision and relief. The key part of the verse says, "And whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out, and will provide for him from where he does not expect. And whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him." 65:2-3. This verse speaks directly to those struggling with uncertainty, financial hardship, or blocked paths. It begins with a condition, taqwa, being conscious of Allah in all matters. This consciousness leads to divine intervention. The phrase, "a way out," signifies solutions, escape routes, or new opportunities that are entirely outside the person's control or planning. When one lives with taqwa, they unlock a divine mechanism that brings unexpected provision, rizq from unseen places. What makes this verse unique is its emphasis on surprise and sufficiency. It's not just about receiving, it's about being sustained by what you could never have imagined. Rizq here is not tied to effort alone, it's deeply connected to surrender, relying completely on Allah after doing one's part. When recited before sleep, this verse serves as a spiritual anchor. It calms anxiety, reminds the heart that nothing is impossible with Allah, and that the next breakthrough might come from the most unlikely source. It encourages a mindset of patience, trust, and righteousness, qualities that magnetize rizq in its purest form. By making these words a nightly practice, a believer nurtures inner strength, deep trust, and a sense of stability even during financial storms. It shifts the focus from fear of lack to hope in divine sufficiency, a true hallmark of spiritual and material wealth. 4. Spiritual practice. Reciting before sleep. The time before sleep holds a special place in Islamic spirituality. It is a moment of transition from the conscious world to the unseen realm of rest, reflection, and renewal. In this stillness, the soul is more receptive and the heart is more open. This is why incorporating Quranic recitation before sleep is not only encouraged but spiritually powerful. When a believer recites specific verses focused on rizq before sleeping, it becomes more than a ritual. It turns into an act of surrender and connection. The distractions of the day are gone, the heart is calm, and the mind can focus more deeply on the meanings of the words. In this state, the recitation of verses such as those from Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Al-Baqarah, and At-Talaq transforms into a spiritual alignment, inviting divine energy into one's rizq, mindset, and future. Nighttime remembrance also aligns with several hadiths where the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ emphasized remembering Allah before sleep as a means of protection, blessing, and ease. When done consistently, this practice builds a spiritual rhythm. The verses act as a nightly reset, clearing the heart of anxiety over money and the future, and reaffirming trust in Allah's sustenance. Over time, this nightly habit trains the subconscious mind to focus on abundance, faith, and gratitude, powerful spiritual states that attract real-world rizq. It's not about instant miracles, but about long-term transformation, a shift in how one thinks, feels, and behaves, regarding wealth and provision. Ultimately, this bedtime practice strengthens the relationship between the servant and the provider. It serves as a reminder that rizq is not earned by hustle alone, but by aligning with divine principles, surrendering outcomes, and maintaining a heart full of faith and remembrance. 5. Faith and sincerity. At the core of every spiritual practice lies intention, and when it comes to attracting rizq through Quranic verses, faith and sincerity are the foundation that determines their effect. Reciting verses is not a mechanical act. It's a deeply personal communication with the Creator. Without true belief and heartfelt sincerity, the words may touch the lips, but not the soul. Faith, or iman, is the conviction that Allah is the ultimate provider, the one who gives without measure and withholds out of wisdom. It's the inner certainty that even if your current circumstances are tight, His ability to change them is limitless. When you recite Quranic verses related to rizq, it must be done with a heart that fully trusts Allah's promises, even when there is no visible evidence. Sincerity, or ikhlas, is equally important. It means reciting these verses not merely for worldly gain, but as an act of devotion, trusting Allah to give what is best, in the best way, at the best time. It's about wanting rizq that comes with barakah, not just numbers in a bank account. A sincere heart doesn't demand, it humbly asks and accepts. Many people recite verses regularly, yet see no change in their rizq. Often the missing ingredient is this inward state of sincerity and unwavering faith. The Quran is not a spell book. It's a guide for hearts that seek Allah above all. The more a person purifies their intentions, the more their spiritual and material blessings expand. When faith and sincerity are present, even a single verse recited with full presence can unlock doors others miss. It's this invisible force that makes divine provision flow in mysterious, often miraculous ways, far beyond what effort alone can achieve. These 3 Quranic verses are more than just words. They're divine keys to unlock rizq, peace, and unseen blessings in your life. Recite them with a heart full of faith every night, and trust that Allah's plan is greater than your fears. If this video brought you value, please like, share, and subscribe to Inner Deen for more spiritual insights. Before you go, comment this prayer below. May Allah bless me with rizq that brings peace, purpose, and barakah. Let's make that our collective dua, together as one ummah.